When temperature increases, the volume, it's also a density question. The volume of a given weight of water gets larger. So increasing temperatures melts ice so that there's more water in the ocean. Also, increase the volume. So those two factors are really contributing to sea level rise. And the point they made about the people in the South Bay, there are different populations usually that are exposed to sea level rise, or that will be affected by it. It's true all over the world. You may have heard stories about how certain island nations are just going to disappear, and that's really unfortunate, not just because they have less resources, but just because those are valuable, beautiful places to vacation. You could think of whatever reason you want. So there are certain models that also just predict based on the data provided by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. I think that the amounts they listed in the video are 8 inches to 60 feet. And I like the point that man made about uncertainty because we're just trying to make our best guesses as scientists about what happened. We can't really tell until all of the different complex factors add up and the future is here. So this figure, I'm going to turn the light off again, it's not great despite how large I tried to make it. In the red here, these regions are the regions that will be projected to be covered with water with 2 meters, again, of sea level rise. And that's maybe not the highest end, it's maybe higher than the Scripps Institute of Oceanography predicted, but it's still very reasonable. The amazing thing I see here is that this area past the Carquinez Strait, where we usually think about the fresh water coming down and meeting some salt water, is going to be experiencing some incursion of salt water. So that also will affect our freshwater supply. It'll really change the ecology of these areas as well. You can see where they're talking about in the video, those South Bay communities will be heavily affected. Luckily, there's not so much red regions in San Francisco, but there are some really important places that are shaded red. And what I'm thinking of is what they mentioned in the video: airports, freeways. A better visualization of this for our area is CalAdapt's interactive tool. I'm just going to show you this really quickly, and then this link will also appear on iLearn. You can see here, I'm not sure about this map as far as current goes. I have to do some more investigating. The thing I do want to show you, though, is that it has a few different levels of 55 inches, 39 inches, and 19 inches. And in those areas, we have San Francisco Airport being completely covered by sea level rise. So, two sides of this. There's a really long time till it might happen. And I forgot the other side. Daniel.
Does the drought have any effect on sea level rise at all?
That's a good question. And this goes back to our water cycle discussion. The drought is our fresh water, and that's a really small amount of water. So when thinking about sea level rise, that's most of the water on Earth. I think they're interconnected in that the drought will become even more affected because salt water is coming in more on our freshwater resources. But there won't be less sea level rise if we don't have any water.
So either way, we're screwed. right?
I believe that we're going to make it with human ingenuity and creative partnerships and all the great things that you're going to do after hearing about this. We'll just see. Has anybody seen Interstellar?
Of course!
Yeah. I think that's really interesting. We have our cinema section in the back, scattered around here. Interstellar is a movie in which they are exploring what would happen in the future. Farmers can only grow a select few crops because the climate on Earth has changed so much and there's no future on Earth. Anyway, science could help us no matter what future holds. And I wanted to show this picture just because of the news that's been happening lately in Florida. There's just some rumors. I don't really know what happens in politics. I do my best to make sense of it in California and for national elections. But, you know, some politicians in Florida are saying that other politicians can't say sea level rise, can't say climate change. Well, this is the situation in Florida with maybe in less than 100 years, Miami and this whole few, many kilometer areas just being swallowed up by a very moderate sea level rise. So I would suggest that we take a different path than Florida. And just as you mentioned in your what can we do cards, have more discussions about it. Many of you might remember that in the beginning of this term we had a raffle for some textbooks so that you didn't have to buy them. I'm going to ask that you bring your textbook if you never want to see it again. That's fine by me, and I will do my best to pass it on to future students. Somebody has also come by to ask if they can donate their clicker as well. I'd be happy to pass it on for you. Students, could I have you be quiet for just a little bit longer, please? Thank you. Daniel.
Do we get extra credit for donating?
Yeah.
Who's with me?
No, that's a great question. If you don't think I'm going to allow it. I do not intend to personally benefit of this. I just want to be a conduit for some savings for students. Thank you. One more comment for me. I just would really like to thank you all for your efforts this term. As long as you could hold on for just a little bit. I know it's really hard sometimes to really get knee-deep in the problems of a general education course, but I hope there are some other things that, whether you realize it or not, taught you something. No late submissions for homework hopefully help you identify that there needs to be some accountability. Hopefully you were able to find an opportunity to chat with maybe your lab instructor or come to my office hours and find out that many people on this campus will be able to help you in whatever way you need. Hopefully you were able to learn that you have a voice even if you don't know what you're talking about with our mini classroom discussions. It was quite a pleasure, and I will